Okay, Aditya, you are from Maharashtra and you have done your Bachelor of Engineering in Mechanical Engineering. Um, you are fond of volleyball, community activities, and your optionals are sociology. Coming to your subject, which you have taken in your Bachelor of Engineering, can you give me some example where mechanical energy is converted into heat energy, and one example where mechanical energy is converted into electrical energy?
Mechanical energy to electrical energy. We
There is
find
a
in
lag. There is a
the
lag. There is a
electrodynamic effect of power plants where electricity is produced. Hello?
your broadband is the speed in order because there is a lag in your audio.
Uh, just a second, sir. Is it okay now?
Yeah, now it is better. Yeah,
Okay.
so you were telling me about giving an example where mechanical energy, is converted into heat energy.
Yes, sir. The mechanical energy into it is converted. Sorry, sir, I am unable to recall about the heat energy, but electrical energy in the power plant where the turbine rotates to produce electrical energy.
Okay.
I could recall.
Yeah. Okay. So mechanical energy, a simple thing when you are rubbing your palms, what happens?
Friction, sir.
Friction. It creates heat energy. That's the simplest example of mechanical energy to heat energy. Okay. Coming to the another question. Uh, what are SDGs?
So the SDGs are the Sustainable Development Goals adopted by the United Nations that vary or variety of issues affecting the globe at large, and that are to be fulfilled by 2030. That includes various social and economical and ecological goals. Uh,
How many are there? How many goals are there?
so in total, there are 17 SDGs.
Okay. Any few examples of the
Life
goals?
underwater, uh,
Okay.
life underwater, forest,
Yes.
education, poverty, health,
Yeah. Okay. But
human.
specifically, for example, health. It is good health and wealth being, and
Okay, sir.
anything connected with poverty and hunger.
Yes, sir, there are with poverty and hunger, but I couldn't recall what are their specifics.
Okay. No problem. What is the position of India in respect of these SDGs internationally, globally? What is India's position or achievement? You can say.
Sir, India has uh, compiled a local SDG development index where various states and various initiatives are uh,
No, I am talking
effectively
about
channelized through
India's
government schemes.
position internationally. Where does it figure? What is what is exactly India's position there internationally in terms of number out of all?
Sorry, sir, I am unable to.
Okay, you can.
Sorry, sir, I am unable to recall the
Okay.
number, but India is
Recently,
very far
it,
ahead.
recently it has been found that it has improved from 60 to 66. Okay, talking about your interest in volleyball. So the recent trend in this country is that more and more sportsmen and sportswomen are emerging out of B class and C class cities, and some of these states which are far-flung areas like Northeast and even a small state like Haryana, more and more wrestlers and other sportswomen and sportsmen are coming. Do you think that now there is a need to concentrate on providing a better sports infrastructure in these Class B and Class C cities? Because till now we have been concentrating only on the Class A cities.
Yes, sir. I feel that the point you mentioned that we need to focus on sports in Class B and Class C cities is very valid because uh, the kind of expertise or the achievements we require can come when good athletes or sports persons from these areas get chance to showcase their talent. And yes, infrastructure in these areas is very poor. First of all, we should start with the school level infrastructure for sports, taking
Mm.
the impetus from the national education policy. Simultaneously, at district level, at tier 2 or B cities, major complexes can come, and then few renowned or better playing athletes or sports person can be then inducted into the national level academies at uh, A cities.
Okay. Now there are, we often hear about the credit agencies. Okay. Now how reliable these credit agencies are, because some of the institutions, they have fallen because of the credit agencies. So what is your view about it? How credible they are?
So the credit rating agencies follow their the model where the companies themselves pay them for the credit ratings mostly.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
so as of now, there are sorry, the concerns is that they do not represent a true picture about the company's health. So as suggested by many eminent persons and committees, is that a national level rating agency where the funds for rating agency should go from a common pool of funds rather than company individually paying them. So there shouldn't be any conflict of interest between the company and the rating agency, I feel so.
Okay. Uh, Now, you see, recent COVID-19 amply demonstrated that there are problems globally which need to be solved globally. So, the Kofi Annan said, therefore, he said that now we have come across problems without passports must be solved, by having an understanding without passports. So, meaning thereby a more international cooperation is necessary in respect of some of the problems which knows no boundaries. COVID knows no boundaries. Can you tell me, besides COVID-19, what are the some of the other issues, problems which are occurring globally, which need to be solved with international cooperation amongst the countries?
So the global problems that require global cooperation apart from COVID, I feel, is the most pressing one is of the climate change that is very much inevitable.
Okay.
Next would be of nuclear non-proliferation because we have threat from North Korea and also the Iran. Next would be uh, open freedom of navigation in seas, sir. As we have seen the dominant posturing of China in South China Sea and also in Azov Sea near the Crimean Peninsula. So these
Mhm.
are very much important, which require global cooperation, sir.
Any other issues? For example, terrorism,
Yes, sir. Terrorism is definitely a major issue, sir.
AIDS, all these kind of things, connected health issues. Okay,
Okay.
thank you, Ashokji.
Aditya, you must have heard about bullet trains. One is coming up in India also. Tell me, how does
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. Sir, I didn't hear you properly.
Bullet trains.
Okay,
you
sir.
must
Yes,
you must be knowing about bullet trains.
yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I want to know, how does bullet train achieve a high speed compared to normal trains?
So the bullet train requires a specialized track than the normal train infrastructure. The electric bullet train has individual uh, electric motors that drive it at a fast rate because the rolling stock of that train is different than that of the normal train is what I know, sir. And
What is the
specialized tracks are being
difference?
used.
what are the main differences? Being a mechanical engineer, I am asking you.
Sorry, sir, I don't know about the exact differences in the engine or the mechanical components about this.
Okay. Now, some time back, the Supreme Court called CBI a caged parrot. Yeah, you remember? Now,
Yes,
what
sir.
are your views about it? Is CBI a caged parrot or it is a free bird?
So the establishment of CBI is that it is a non-statutory body, and hence there is a very much interference of the union government in its functioning, and therefore it is often looked that it is working under the precedent of union governance directives and not independently. But it is not true for all the cases. At times, the high-profile cases do get entangled in the political interference. But looking at other cases which are of not of high profile case, CBI does a very good role independently. And to restrict this interference, political interference, I feel that a kind of statutory nature should be provided to CBI. And selection committee, recently we saw in appointment of CBI director that there was a delay. The post was vacant for many times. So responsibility was with the additional director, etc. So timely appointment of director should also be uh, done so that the body has a leadership, proper leadership. So,
Yeah, okay. Now tell me, there is a scheme called Swamitva. You have heard about it?
no, sir, I'm unable to
Swam.
recall it.
Okay. Now, I want to know from you, how are land records made and how are they kept?
Sir, the land record system in India is very diverse, with each state having its own kind of recordings or documentations. Effort was recently taken to digitalize the land record, like deeds of rights, etc. The in Maharashtra, usually the Satbara pattern of land record is used, wherein the name of property holder and the area of the uh, land records, and also all the transactions related to land are recorded uniformly. Recently, the government of India and various state governments has started digitalization of land records. Recently, one union government project of giving title rights to the.
Sorry, I think your bandwidth internet is having problem. I'm not able to hear you.
Sir, I said that am I able to? Are you? I'm audible, sir.
Now yes.
So I said that the land record system in India is very diverse. Each state having its own unique type of documentation, but
Yes,
efforts are
in Maharashtra, you were saying something specific about
Satbara
Maharashtra.
pattern.
What is
Yes, sir.
Satbara?
In Maharashtra, there is
What
a
does Satbara mean?
sir, the Sadwara means the record of land in the section number 7 of the Land Act. That is denote the 7, uh, the form number 7 actually. So that is denoted as Sadwara. It
So
has the name of the
how frequently it is updated?
sir. Usually it is to be updated with every means transaction, means if land is sold to some other individuals, it
Hmm.
needs to be updated with the name of the owner, and also if any loan on that land is taken, that is also included in that Sadbara document, sir.
Okay.
So any pending debts or anything is included in this Sadbara, sir.
Okay. Now, can you also tell me what do you understand from a hostile takeover of a company? Hostile takeover of a company.
Sorry, sir, but I don't know about it.
Okay. Now, last thing, how are the data for agricultural crops collected in India?
So usually the ground level functionaries like the patwaris, etc. in the villages uh, do a field survey and look at the crops which are being planted. This was the source of primary data until now, but of recently satellite imagery and also drone based technology are being used to assess the uh, cropping pattern in India, and it is also beneficial for the crop insurance scheme that the union government is implementing.
But what do you do to know how much has been the production of a particular crop in a particular area?
Sir, I don't know the specifics about it, sir.
Well, it is called crop cutting experiment. You can know about it later. Thank you.
Gauri Shankarji.
Aditya, one of your hobbies doodling. Now, can you explain me what exactly it means?
Sir, doodling is a form of drawing which we draw without any expectation. Like it is a free form of drawing, not very specific and not very unconsciously. So it helps to increase our creative, give expression to our creative potentials.
So this you have been doing in the school and colleges, or how?
Sir, doodling as a interest, I think every individual starts doing since childhood itself. We try to scribble something. That scribbling at that age is also can be defined as a doodling. And coming to me, sir, yes, I practice it now also in free time, and it has been my hobby since long. I earlier used to draw. I mean, I had interest in drawing, but due to my education and other engagements now, I am unable to give time for drawing. So that naturally comes in doodling, sir.
Okay. Now, can you tell me what are the tax laws in India at the central level?
Sorry, sir, I am unable to hear you.
What are the tax laws in India at the level of the central government?
Tax laws, sir.
Tax laws, taxation.
Okay. Sir, the major taxation, indirect tax law is the GST, and in direct taxation is the Income Tax Act, sir.
Can you name them very specifically? There are only two laws, or there are many more?
Sir, also the corporation tax for the companies, but I don't know specifically other acts, sir.
There's also a Wealth Tax Act.
Yes, sir.
There are laws governing customs duty as well, which is also a sort of tax. Okay. Now, is there a move by the government of India to, what you call consolidate the direct tax laws into one law? And do you know what
Yes,
is
sir.
happening on that?
Yes, sir. A committee under whose chairmanship I don't remember, but it was the committee is there for direct taxation code, where all the direct taxes to be combined into a single law is in process, sir.
What is the status and what is the name of the proposed law?
Sorry, sir. I don't know about it specifically,
Okay.
but yes, I have heard about it, sir.
Okay, now can you tell me what is the role of CAG in the whole process of government of India? Controller and Auditor General of India.
So the Controller and Auditor General of India basically audits the expenditure by the government of India, the budgets, etc. It acts as a friend of the Public Accounts Committee, giving it the details of the expenditure and commenting upon various PSUs also, like other subsidiaries of the government through which the expenditure is done, and other departments also.
And then what does it do finally?
Sorry, it presents the report before the Parliament of India, and it is only a recommendatory report. It is up to the Union government to take actions if any faults are being unearthed to it. It is basically post facto assessment, so it doesn't have any control on how the expenditure is done. Rather, it assessment is after the expenditure has already happened.
Okay. Now, have you heard about Competition Commission of India?
Yes, sir.
What is its role?
So the Competition Commission of India, established in 2001, was basically to curb the malpractices in the market, like the predatory marketing, or as we have seen in cases of the e-commerce companies which are offering deep discounts to become oligopolistic in the markets. So it ensures fair marketing practices in the Indian market.
Okay, recently there was a case of one of the multinational company which came up in the CCI, in the Competition Commission of India. Do you recall that case?
Sorry, sir, I am unable to recall the exact news, sir.
Okay. Now, you must have heard about NPAs.
Yes.
What are those NPAs and what is their role in the economy of India?
Sir, NPAs means the non-performing assets, means the loans which the bank gives to the companies and other organizations, and which are unrecorded after their due dates. Basically, 90 days. If the the installment amount is not paid for up to 90 days, then they are classified as NPAs. NPAs caused a huge balance sheet problem in the Indian banking system, and also has dented the credit output of banks, and also affected the growth prospectus of India. Since last 3 to 4 years, we are experiencing a huge amount of problems due to the NPAs, and the current pandemic has exacerbated the problem, being the recent reports where the NPAs prior to COVID level are going to soar up to 13.6% of the GDP. So that creates a balance sheet mismatch.
Okay, and what are the steps the government of India has taken recently to overcome this problem?
Sir, the government is providing emergency credit line guarantee, has come up with emergency credit line guarantee scheme for various sectors, so that they don't face any capital issues due to the recent COVID pandemic. Also, government has given earlier the moratorium on the loans, where they won't be classified as NPA for that period. Means uh, there was allowed to delay the payments, and also restructuring scheme for loans has also been restarted, which was earlier banned or stopped. So these are certain steps that government of India is taking to ensure that NPAs don't rise, and also on structural reforms of banking, that secured loans must be given. The banking governance is being improved, sir.
And what is bad bank? Have you heard about this?
Yes, sir. So bad bank is a kind of asset restructuring company where the bad loans of a bank would be taken at a discount, and it will clear the balance sheets of the public sector banks, and then the bad bank will try to resolve those defunct companies or the loans to proper uh, policy or say schemes.
Okay, my last question to you is, tell me the 5 greatest or most important challenges which government of India faces today, according to your viewpoint.
So the challenges would be of first would be the NPA problem, that will be a cumbersome uh, point in the coming years. Next would be the unemployment problem that is being faced by India at large. Third would be, sir, the health infrastructure due to COVID, because we don't have any certainty as of now, because the vaccine policy is moving at a slow pace. Fourth would be, sir, providing, ensuring that people of India don't slide into poverty, because problem and many people will be line. And so fifth will be the implementation of national education policy, because education has been stuck since last 2 years, especially the primary and school education.
Okay, thank you very much, Aditya.
Mrunalji.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Aditya, am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Good
good.
evening.
So can you tell me the year when Gujarat was separated from Maharashtra?
So it is 1956, sir.
Was it 56 or 61 or 60? Anyways, leave it. Tell me something about the Gadchiroli region of Maharashtra.
So Gadchiroli district is one of the aspirational district uh, is one of the district of aspirational district program implemented by Union government. It is a Naxal affected district and lies in the eastern region of Maharashtra. It is famous for the tribals that are Madia Gonds, which are classified as PVGTs. Yes, sir. And it is also the most forest dense district of Maharashtra, sir.
Right. Now within Gujarat, we find there is a district named Dangs. That too has a very dense forest and a sizable population of scheduled tribes. Yet we find that in Gadchiroli, there is a problem of left-wing extremism, but not in Gujarat. So as a student of sociology, what do you think could be the reason?
So the Gadchiroli lies on the red corridor of Naxal movement, and also due to lack of administration and linkages, because it lies on the border of the Chhattisgarh, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh. So the activity of Naxals can be very effectively managed there. So they get a hideout area in the Abujmal forest of Chhattisgarh. So
those are geographical reasons. Tell me some sociological reasons.
Sorry, sir, I am unable to.
No problem. Tell me something about Bhima Koregaon.
So Bhima Koregaon is an obelisk that the Britishers raised in the memory or the valor of the Indian soldiers who fought against the Peshwa in 1818. Of recently, it has sparked controversy due to the caste-based clashes that occurred in 2018, sir. And also a case has been going on that is been named as Bhima Koregaon.
Then what is Elgar Parishad case?
Sir, it is related to this same Bhima Koregaon event. Elgar Parishad was held in Pune for the excesses that the organizers of Elgar Parishad think that the government has done in the Bhima Koregaon case, sir.
All right. Suppose you are posted as the municipal commissioner of Mumbai, and you find that every year there is a monsoon and there is problem of severe floods. How will you address this?
Sir, first would be the iFlow system that is being installed. Means it will give the effective data about heavy downpour in an area, so the community can be alerted. Next would be, sir, proper desilting of the drains. Mumbai has a major problem that the network of the storm drainage is blocked before the monsoon. Right, recently a recent outburst of monsoon, there were huge water lodging in areas. So that would be the second step. And so fourth would be reducing the population density from certain areas, like the encroachments that are taking place in on the water bodies in and around the Mumbai. Sir.
What else?
I could only think about this, sir.
Anything from sociology optional subject comes in your mind to address this problem?
No, sir.
In Maharashtra, is there a Vidhan Parishad or not?
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
In Maharashtra Assembly, is there a separate Vidhan Parishad upper house or not?
Yes, sir.
Legislative Council and Legislative Assembly.
Yes, sir. There is, sir.
What is the significance of this upper house?
Sir, it provides the crucial discussion or inputs from the leaders. Means when a bill is to be passed, it goes to scrutiny of this house also, sir. Although, unlike Rajya Sabha, the ML, the Legislative Council doesn't have any. Yes, it can bring the issues.
Now, there are many other states that do not have such upper house, and yet they are doing reasonably good. So don't you think this should be abolished and it will reduce the burden on the financial resources of the state?
Sir, it depends on a state to state basis. Given the Maharashtra's political nature, yes, there are many excess money that, as you pointed out, that has been pushed into this. But given the kind of society Maharashtra is, the Legislative Council provides the opportunity for leaders from all sorts of thinking and domain to be a part of this policy making, sir.
Okay, sir, that is all from my side.
Okay. Abhishek?
Hello,
Yes,
good
sir.
evening.
Good evening.
So,
Good evening.
could you please give me some examples of some recent developments in the domain of mechanical engineering which could help bring more equity in society?
More equity, sir. The what I could remember is the recent Indian government's move to develop a low electric consumption and more economically friendly ACs that has been practiced in the Delhi regions. Next would be, sir, the solar panel, because it provides the solar panel. It provides electricity to the hinterland areas. I could only remember this, sir. And next is the bike ambulance initiative that I saw in Chhattisgarh, etc. In the difficult terrains where there is no infrastructure as well as no proper roads. So this bike ambulance was very effective in transporting the people, sir. So I could only remember this, sir.
Okay, good example regarding the bike ambulance. But to my mind, development of solar cells domain is the domain of electronics rather than mechanical, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And
It is,
could
but
you please explain about the refrigeration cycle of that AC that you mentioned, a low cost AC? How is it
no,
different
sir.
from the refrigeration, from the cooling cycle of a regular AC?
Sorry, sir. I don't know the specifics of that, but I only heard about it, sir.
That's okay. That's okay. you know about Hyperloop and how Elon Musk was a major proponent, has been the major proponent of Hyperloop. He said that it is a combination of three technologies, three existing technologies. Could you please give me the name of those three technologies?
No, sir. I don't know about it, sir.
One of them was railgun. Now, does it ring a bell?
Sorry, sir. I didn't follow the topic, sir.
Okay, okay. What is cybernetics? Because it is basically an application of electronics to your domain. I'm giving you the hint.
Sir, is it related to Internet of Things?
I've given you enough hints now. Either you can answer or you can leave the question.
Sorry, sir. I don't know.
That's okay. That's okay. A couple of years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and they have been in news, there have been a number of rules regarding management of waste. So can you give me some names of rules that are existent in India and are in application regarding management of waste?
Sir,
There's a bandwidth issue. I can't hear you well.
the solid waste management tools, 16 that were written.
Could you please repeat? I can't hear you well.
So the solid waste management tools of 2016, the electronic waste management rules of 2018. These two I could remember as of now, sir.
Okay.
Also, the plastic waste, there was extended producer responsibility being there on the large, I think, sir.
Okay. With extended producer responsibility, there was another name, producer responsibility organizations. And in that, there was a concept of life cycle management of a product. So how can mechanical engineering contribute to the life cycle management of a product?
Sorry, sir, I couldn't think about it.
You couldn't hear or you don't recall? I can't hear you now.
No, I can't think about it, sir. What is the
Okay,
role of
that's
mechanical
okay. That's
engineering?
okay. Leave it, leave it, leave it. Tell me, is cooking food the job of women?
No, sir. It is not specifically a job of women, but due to the social thinking, we can say that it has been confined as a job of women, sir. Especially in case of when it is a kind of employment, especially in restaurants or any kind of paid employment, it is mostly taken by men as chef. We rarely see a woman as head chef, but we see men as the chefs of big restaurants, sir.
Okay, but in Pradhan Mantri Ujjwal Yojana, we have this rule that the registration of the stove that will be given will be in the name of the woman of the household. So do you think that India is basically enforcing this cooking job on women through subliminal messaging?
So, as you pointed out this point, it is an unintended consequences that we are looking. But it was the registration on name of woman was basically to give her the social prestige and a uh, uh, kind of we can say the improving her social status, giving her the agency, social agency. It was done basically for that things.
So you think it should be something that could be done away with? Should we? It was an unintended consequence, but then it is a consequence. So do you think if we were to rewrite that policy, we should remove that provision?
So I don't think that it should be removed. Rather, promote raising social awareness or some other kind of information, education, communication strategies can be used. Recently, on the internet, slogan by Haryana government was pointed where, which was very much pointing that cooking is a girl's job. So such kind of uh, banners or scheme related documents should not specifically put the social constraint that cooking is only a woman's job.
Okay, okay. So you know that recently social media organizations, social media companies have been in some sort of conflict or tussle with the government. What is that about?
Sir, it is related with the social media regulation rules that were recently amended, where the social media has to appoint a grievance redressal officer and also comply with the other directives of the Ministry of Information and Technology. So basically, there were objections that it restricts their freedom of speech and expression, and that is the main point of conflict.
Okay, but do you know or can you think of some law in which there already is an analogous provision as per based on what the rules were made of the provision of this redressal officer? Can you think of any other law that is already under consideration in which there is this provision?
For the social media companies, sir.
Yeah.
No, sir. I don't remember about, but already in Information Technology Act, I think there were enough
I'm
safeguards.
talking about a law that is under consideration,
And no, sir.
a bill. Now can you think of it?
Data protection bills.
Okay, so there is some talk regarding the data protection regime in India, right? You have read the bill. I'm going to assume that you have.
Yes.
Can you compare and contrast these the provisions or the data protection regime that is being envisioned in India with EU GDPR?
No, sir. So yeah, I won't be able to compare them.
I mean, by comparing, I mean, is there something that we could bring in from EU GDPR into our proposed bill?
No, sir. I'm not well versed with this GDPR, sir. With GDPR.
Okay, you know that a disaster is ongoing, right? The COVID pandemic was declared as a disaster last year. And during a disaster, the district administration gets some very, very stringent and very, if some people use that word, I don't agree with that, but then some people use that word draconian powers. What are those draconian powers and which provisions enable that?
Sorry, sir. I am unable to recall it specifically. But to my memory, the power to restrict means if a district collectors gives the duty to any officer, and if he is not present or not able to do that duty, then it is considered as violation of the Disaster Management Act. And apart from other acts, it is stringent upon the service employer. I think that.
Okay, I have, like, we talked about Gadchiroli and you mentioned about Naxalism. Just one last question. I have always been confused by how Andhra Pradesh was able to develop Greyhound and reduce Naxalism to a large extent. But then why did Odisha and Jharkhand not do it? Do you see some reason for it? Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Odisha, typically infested with Naxalism, but then they have not been able to develop or follow this simple example that Andhra Pradesh had. So what is the reason for it?
So according to me, I feel that uh, in Andhra Pradesh, the Naxal activity was restricted to the northern limits of Andhra Pradesh, that is contiguous with the Maharashtra, Odisha, and Chhattisgarh border. And Andhra Pradesh has a very bright urban area or population also. But if you take the case of Odisha, they have a very good amount of forest presence, and also the kind of social development or the administrative governance or governance related development indicators in Chhattisgarh and Odisha were far behind that of Andhra Pradesh, sir. So this also gives the opportunity to Odisha or the Jharkhand government to uh, this also gives them opportunity to for Naxalis to operate from this, and the able greyhounds, as you mentioned.
No, I am not talking
In
about how do
Chhattisgarh,
Naxals get the opportunity.
force is
I'm
there,
talking
which
why
is
did Odisha and Jharkhand not follow that model? And believe me, there is a significant amount of funding that is given by the central government to the state governments to counter Naxalism. It is targeted funding for that.
sorry, sir, I can't answer this. Sir.
Okay, that's all from my side. Thank you, Aditya. Take care.
Aditya, I'm going to ask you this question to you. How do you feel you have fared? in your opinion?
So not excellent. It was an average interview, sir.
Okay, so yeah, so having said that, let me say that you are definitely around very good candidate, and you can do still better. You have performed well. Let me tell you some of the strengths which you possess. We found that you were mentally alert. Number one, you had a critical power of assimilation, and the answers were quite clear and logical and complete, and there were no hiccups, so you were able to come out with reasonably good answers in respect of most of the questions. And then of course your delivery was fine, and some of the questions were very intelligently replied, and they were complete answers, and even some of the supplementaries you were able to take on very well. And of course, the only one thing which we noticed was that you occasionally smile. Probably you did not smile at all. So once a while, you should smile also at certain times. So that will be always better. And then of course, some of the things which which you answered, which I'm going to narrate to you quickly, just to tell you. For example, the question which about Swamitva. So the revenue administration, as it is applicable to the agriculture lands, and as it is applicable, Swamitva pertains to the Abadi Day area, providing title to the people who are living within the Lal Dora, where there are no such revenue records. So that is a new scheme which has been brought about. It's a very important scheme because there were a lot of litigations. You must know that. The second is your own subject, mechanical engineer, bullet train, how it runs. You must know that. And because bullet train, the basic principle on which it runs, why it is able to acquire that high speed, is something which definitely this question may arise, because you are a mechanical engineer. Land records, how they are kept, you gave, and how they are updated. So you gave an answer that they are updated on a real-time basis. Well, actually, it is not true. It is done at a regular intervals. It varies from state to state. Somewhere it is 4 years, some places it is 5 years. Only the mutation is done, and that also is not a real-time basis. It takes a few months. But the land records updating, when the question was put to you, that means after how many intervals, how much interval the land records are updated. And normally it is the record of rights. Okay. And then hostile takeover of a company, that was one question which was put up to you. You were not able to recall that. It's fine. One cannot have everything, in his knowledge. But and then how data for agricultural crop is collected. Now you mentioned certain things which are the means of collecting, finding out how much area is under one crop. That was through satellite or remote sensing or through drone. That is only able to give you an assessment of the area. But how much crop or the production is going to come out of that crop, that is done normally by carrying out crop cutting experiments at farmers' fields or on demonstration plots. So this is the method, you must understand. It is normally done by the agriculture department in conjunction with the revenue department of the state. And then of course the hobby doodling, you explained it very well. And then the tax laws at the center, also it was reasonably well explained. When you mentioned about the role of CAG, that is a friend philosopher, you mentioned one word which, if I recall correctly, Public Funds Committee. Now there is no such thing as Public Fund Committee, it's Public Accounts Committee. So the CAG,
I said accounts, sir.
It is Public Accounts Committee. So CAG is there to assist the PSC. Okay. Then Competition Commission of India was fine. NPS also you were able to come out at bad banks also. But when you were asked the most important challenges in Government of India facing today, you came out the first important priority according to you was NPA. Probably there are many other priorities which are more important than NPA. So you have to think, don't come, have a knee-jerk reaction. Don't immediately come out with answers. Think, let it dissolve inside you, and your cerebral mechanism should work, and then come out with the answer. So don't be in a hurry. You can always seek time once in a while when it is a difficult question. It needs deliberation within your framework. Okay. Then the question which were asked about the Gujarat being separated from Maharashtra the year, that was a factual question. But probably since you belong to Maharashtra, one might expect that also. Gadchiroli was again an interesting question which was asked to you. And then, of course, the problem of monsoon floods in Mumbai. So that again is an important area. And the question why it was put up to you and was because the panelists wanted to have understanding how do you relate it to the subject of sociology, which you have taken as your optional. So, the sociology plays a very important part. This question may often arise when someone will ask you, how do you think sociology is going to help you in civil services? So this is, a relation. So you have to understand the application of the subject. Whenever you give a reply, you must back it up with examples and applications. So that is why this kind of question, sometime will arise. It may not be a direct answer, but it is a circumventing answer relating of sociology to the floods in Mumbai. Then, of course, the Vidhan Parishad in Maharashtra, that again was an important thing, because now recently there was West Bengal also wants to have a second house. So why there is a need for second house? Does it not mean too much of expenditure, public expenditure? So, pros and cons. So whenever there is a controversial topic, and I can narrate to you so many controversial topics which may arise before you. One would be corruption, the other would be secularism, the third could be Article 370, reservation, women power. These are all controversial questions. So is a question about the upper house also, where there can be different views, so you have to balance your reply in such cases. Then certain questions were put regarding mechanical engineering. And so now that is in the area regarding, the cybernetics and the Hyperloop and the management of waste and life cycle management of a product. These were some of the areas where you need to really work on that, so that you are update on that, because question will definitely, some panelists may have a very intricate knowledge about the mechanical engineering, and he's going to put it up to you. Then the question which was put about whether the cooking is a job of a woman as per the social perception. Now that is definitely there in the society. Probably that can be handled in another fashion, that there are two things which are prevalent. One is, of course, the discrimination on account of sex. So men and women they differ on account of sex, which is takes it at birth. But the other thing is the gender. So this thing about cooking is generally is a gender stereotype which is prevalent in our society, that cooking is only to be given to the women and not men. But the example which you gave are that in majority of the good hotels, the chefs are the men. So that is one issue. Definitely you will have to, they will definitely ask you about women empowerment and the kind of gender preconceived notions which are prevalent in the society, stereotypes. Overall, it's good. There's no doubt about it. If you have any question, you can ask us.
So my fluency means while speaking, was I good or I was jumbling with my words?
No, actually there was some problem because of the broadband. So therefore, many times your voice was not coming out continuously and there were lags in that. But when it was coming fine, it was all right. I didn't find any flaw in that. It's absolutely fine. Your delivery is fine. And the communication skills are also absolutely fine. Your demeanor is fine. Your outer appearance is fine. Body language was also fine. And so therefore, I think overall it's good. There's no doubt. But again, no time for complacency, because if you have to be successful, you have to really, work in some of the areas which require a more knowledge assimilation, and also working on the depth of that knowledge. If you do that, so the areas which we will sum it up is, one is, as I told you, a mechanical engineering, then about the DAF, which you have mentioned about volleyball, about your community activities, which we did not ask you about community activities, and sociology. So these were some of the areas. And of course, things which are of current affairs. You will need to know the current affairs till the day you enter into the interview room of the UPSC. So that you must take care. And otherwise, you will do very well. I'm sure about it. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so good luck, Aditya.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Unacademy. Let's crack it.